Hey, people, it's your boy Mac live again with a special guest. I would like for him to introduce himself to the people, man, so we can get familiar with you, please.
My name is Red Storm, straight out of Chicago, Illinois. An old cat, been on the scene for a long time, in and out of everything, but you know, I've been around these stages and done the thing too. So, my name is Red Storm, Chicago.
Nice. You've been around the globe with, well, actually in the States. I don't know about the globe with your art. And what art form is that, man? Because you got a lot going on. Could you please tell the people?
Well, I'm a spoken word artist, poetry, spoken word artist, HBO Def Jam poet. Did 3 seasons of HBO Def Poetry, and from that platform, which I appreciate Russell Simmons and the whole 9 yards for helping me do that. But it started with Def Poetry, and I'm a stage performer. That's all I can say.
Right. You got some commendable work, man. We'll get to that in a second. But man, you got such a rich history, man. I mean, to just glaze over and get right into your work would be an injustice to you. I don't know if you want to share some of your history about your personal life, what inspired
it's all
you.
good. We can share whatever you want to share. This is your platform. I'm with you.
Right. So you and I, we were chopping it up earlier, man, and we were talking about a lot of life issues, man, that we both have in common. In particular, you were living a lifestyle which is probably the demise of a lot of youngsters nowadays. Could you please elaborate?
I mean, I lived, I wanted to be Superfly. I was infatuated with Superfly. He was the coldest nigga in the world. He sold dope. He tooted dope. He did his thing all day, and he whooped the police at the end of the movie and walked off. And Curtis Mayfield came on, and the movie was over. I wanted to be that, or I wanted to be a professional baseball player. But life took me another direction, and ended up in the drug life and addiction, and went from selling to using and the whole nine, and prison and the whole nine. So, through that, Red Storm was created through that. You know what I mean? Chicago living, and Chicago is it's a beautiful city, whether it's bad or good. It's still a beautiful city, but Chicago is a motherfucker. That's all I can say.
So, being from Chicago, hold up, I gotta fix that camera, brother. I gotta fix that. Give me 1 second, okay?
Yeah.
I would like to apologize to my audience and you, but technical difficulties happen, and that's what happens. And we still got some issues. Give me 1 second, please. Now we all know proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Poor performance.
I gotta apologize to the people, but that's how real we keep it. You know what I'm saying? So
The 5 Ps. You don't know nothing about that, man.
hey, I come from the same school you come from, bro.
Hey,
You know what I
man.
mean?
5 Ps.
Right. So you've been through, you've been through it, man. You know what I mean? Addiction, incarceration, and now you've reached this pinnacle where you're trying to take it to the next level. But before we get to that next level, how was it going through the ranks, man? Like what was some of your darkest days, in I was gonna say the gutter, but I don't know if you were that deep into it.
I had a lot of dark days, man. I had a lot of dark days coming from a good family. Now you got to understand, I come from a good family. Now I never had to witness dark days. You know what I mean? I did that because of the street allure. It's a gravity pull to the streets. You know what I'm saying? Even for a good kid. You know what I mean? And I got pulled to the streets and I learned a different game. So through that game, I was a drug dealer. I was G Money. Y'all remember New Jack City? I was G Money.
Mm-hmm.
You had Nino Brown and I was G Money. And you remember when G Money the movie first came on, G Money was shooting jump shots.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was me. I was an athlete. But G Money also was in the fishbowl smoking the pipe. That was me. And that sent me to prison and, a lot of things. But I ain't got a scar on me because it's the people and the grace that God has on your life. You feel what I'm saying? It's some people can make it through, some people can't. But I was blessed enough to make it through and learn how to write my pain on a piece of paper.
Right.
I put all my pain and everything that I went through, all the shit, all the bullshit that I wanted to say I'm sorry about. I learned how to put that in a rhyme and perform it to the people where your mother would love me and your auntie would love me. And the people that don't like rap, he's rapping, but I like that shit because he's talking about something that I can relate to.
Right. Well, yeah, and the lyrics that you put out on the airwaves, man, are very inspirational. I like that new track that you have out called Wizard of Oz. I mean, it took me for a roller coaster ride.
Wizard of God.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize, man. Wizard of God. I was listening to it while I was driving, and it was inspirational, man. You got a crew actually of you guys are a collective that comes together, man, and put together like the production from the beats to the lyrics to each one of you guys, man, spitting. It's really inspirational, you know what I mean, to hear it coming from someone who actually lived that life. But before I get into that, I want to dig a little deeper into that transformation before you made the transformation, the lifestyle. Because at a certain age, we want to be able to tell a story that can deter others from going in the direction that we went in so that it could probably guide them past the perilous, pitfalls in life that I had to endure, probably you as well. So I want to, what was like the deepest, lowest point where you felt as though, look, this is the time where I got to change, man. This is it. I can't do this no more. You know what I mean?
Deepest, lowest point was when the prison chaplain came to my bars and he said that I got to speak to you in the other room. And he told me my mama had died. You know what I mean? And that was the lowest point of my life to, be an outstanding athlete, to be an outstanding street nigga in the Hall of Fame. And I'm in prison You know what I'm saying? Listen to this white man, this chaplain, which I love. I love him. You know what I mean? And he have to tell me my mother died and the last time I saw her was in prison. And that changed my life. Also, my man in the background right here, Tupac, changed my life at the lowest point of my life, being locked in the box and understanding that I'm not supposed to be here. Not me. I'm not supposed to be here. You understand?
Right.
And that's what changed me when I finally understood that I got a greater purpose.
Okay. I mean, I feel that because I can relate to it. Let's just put it like that. I can relate to it. And for you to come out, it seems from all outward appearances that you have the connections and the ability to do a lot of great things. And you can be the inspiring, compelling force, man, to a lot of individuals. And how do you, because you have mentioned this to me, that you are a paramount leader in your community. So what are the ways that you're actually, helping the youth out, or your community for that matter?
Well, I stand here for them. I stand here. You know how to get in touch with me. I'm right here. And I give you game without publicity. It ain't about publicity for me. You know what I mean? I'm right here on the block. I'm the same dude. I just don't do the same things. I'm in the same places. You will see me all the time, but I just don't do the same thing. So I'm standing here showing you that it's a way to be the same person and not do the same shit. Right. You got to switch your game, shawty. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't, the older you get, the more you understand. So you got to listen to them old drunks when they talking in the park. And you got to listen to them addicts because they might be God. You know what I mean? So I play that part. I play that part to shine a light. I shine a light through the tunnel to show you a way to get out. You know what I mean? It's many different ways to skin a cat. It's many different ways to skin a cat. But I'm going to show you the way I did it. You can follow me or you don't have to.
Right.
You can stay over there with the dummies if you choose to. But you know what that's going to get you. Because it got me. You understand?
Right, right.
So through my movement, all I do is keep forward. I show people to keep straight, keep the blinders on, and keep straight. And now, God gonna work it out. As long as you got faith in the higher power. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
From a thug point of view. You know what I mean? Right.
I think there's a big separation between the OGs, the older guys in the community, older leaders, role models, and the youth today. And you being from Chicago can tell that story only from first-hand events, man. So I don't see that, the older generation and the younger generation are connecting that tissue, man, bridging that gap. So what happened? How did that happen?
Lack of leadership.
Okay.
Lack of player shit. Lack of, nigga, you don't know what 60 to life mean. You don't, lack of teaching, lack of, it's just like what I told you earlier, man. When Jesus went on that mountain and them people come back and he come back down with them tablets, you saw what them people was doing. They was in Sodom and Gomorrah. They was on everything because the leadership left for just a minute. You feel me? To go get some teaching, and he come back and y'all tripping. You know what I mean? So it's, you reap what you sow. You know what I mean? And man, lack of leadership. That's the, ain't no, and they ain't listening to us. They think old folks crazy. They think old folks crazy. I did. I thought old folks was crazy. That's why my ass went to prison.
Right.
You feel me? Because I didn't listen to what the motherfucker was telling me way before the shit happened. Old folks ain't no fool, and they trying to tell you what's happening before you even get to it, and you ain't listening. So you reap what you sow. If you want to be, you can't be a artist like I am and be a gangbanger, be a drug dealer. You can't straddle the fence. You feel what I'm saying? You got to pick and choose. If you want to be in the street element, that's what you are. But you can't do both. It's not going to happen.
Right. You said that you lived or you had some affiliation with the gangs. I'm not going to get into the specific, but I just want to mention that when you talk about a street life and the street element, nowadays, of course, we see that there is no leadership. And a lot of guys who fell under the banner of whatever it is that they were a part of, then they kind of like went rogue, so to speak. So I think that can, like you said, all of what you said, plus the fact that the leaders of certain elements are no longer around, whether they be positive or negative. We do know that children are malleable, they're susceptible, and they need role models and they need guidance. And sometimes in certain areas, that role model could be the drug dealer, it could be the pimp, it could be, the OG, the big OG, the Godfather, or whatever have you.
They the ones who taught us.
And they are the ones who are not around. So the ones that taught you and I are not around. They had a short lifespan. The ones that are teaching the youth now, or should be teaching the youth now, are really not around. There's a few people out here like yourself, which are trying to make it happen, but it seems like an insurmountable task. So what inspires you to keep going with this thing, man? Where you feel your city is, you could tell the story, like I said, better. Your city, Chicago, is on fire. It's hurtful to hear stories coming out of Chicago during COVID, man. 100 people in one weekend, 100 people shot. And then a follow-up to that, another 100 people, 90-something people shot. This is during COVID, during a lockdown, okay? And I don't know what the problem is in Chicago. I've never lived in Chicago, but I can understand on a global level that poverty has a lot to do with it. So,
well, I'm gonna smile and say this. Chicago been like that since Al Capone, man. You know what I mean? Chicago has always been Chicago. It's a gangster town, man. Either you with it or you gonna get rolled over. Either you gonna roll with it or you gonna get rolled over. It's the librarian is a gangster. All right? The mayor is a gangster. Everybody a gangster. And that's just the way Chicago is, hey, man, you got some people that's in the game and they don't give a fuck. But they living with a grandmama who begging them to stop. And then you got other people that go to the army, and you got other people that, it all revolves around your high school conversations. All right. When you go into high school and you got one person that come up to you and you at your locker and that one person say, let's make it to the next class because Miss Jackson be tripping when we late. And before you leave, another nigga roll up and say, Fuck Miss Jackson. We going over Bobby crib, and they got some weed and some beers and a few females over there. What you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
That one conversation can change your life. I went to Bobby and them crib. You feel what I'm saying? And I turned out how I turned out. I went to prison. My homeboys went to the army and got good lives. So within Chicago's turmoil and the things we go through, you have a lot of great people that come out of Chicago. But you have to have discipline. Discipline that keep you away. My homeboys, Tim Hardaway, Antoine Walker, Michael Finley, Donovan McNabb, all these people. I wanted to be an athlete, but I didn't have the discipline because the streets drew me away from that. You understand? So people pick and choose their own lives and their own paths, and you have to be acceptable to the consequences of living that life. I accepted my consequences. I was lucky to come out of that and be on stage with all sorts of people. I was lucky. So what I do now is show them not to be lucky and actually think about this type of shit. Don't be lucky like me. Think about what the fuck you doing, nigga. You feel me?
Okay. Hey, your story is inspirational, man, even for a guy like myself, who's been through, the gutter too. And sometimes, man, that builds fortitude, man, going through the gutter. It builds, it braces you, man. It reinforces, your ability to survive and maneuver in this world that's kind of cold sometimes. And from what you've seen and what you've been through, I'm just glad that you're a part of the community and you have this consciousness where you're willing to help. Because right now we're in a crisis. And the crisis is lack of leadership, like you said. And with people like yourself, I think that we have a chance. The youth have, and the youth don't get it don't get it wrong. Not all youth are swayed to do negative, and not all youth are doing the wrong thing out there. You have a lot of youth that are going to school, and come from underprivileged neighborhoods, and just realize that this is the path in life that I don't want to take. But in a recent rash of events, especially with rappers, it's just disheartening, man. It's heartbreaking to see these brothers don't even make it past 25, man. I can name a few guys from your town, man. King Von, to be one, just to be one, because you're in Atlanta and he's from Chicago and he got killed in Atlanta and he's from Chicago. So that shows me that the gang mentality, the mentality doesn't change. The physical migrate, but the mentality stays the same. And as we talked about earlier, these are the results of living a lifestyle. The consequences, so you sign up for this thing. So
people don't want to, like I told you earlier, people don't, change is a hard thing. Change ain't simple. You know what I mean? And people don't want to handle the responsibility of change. Change is a responsibility. You have to go by this every day and change the way you act and change the way you walk. And sometimes that's hard because of peer pressure. Peer pressure is relevant even when you're 50. You know what I mean? You got to go home. You got to go home. And your homies say, let's have one more, baby. One more before you go.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's peer pressure. For an older person, we can handle peer pressure. But for a shorty, you gonna go where it's popping or where you feel comfortable at, not knowing that ain't the place that you need to be. Right. You understand? So with all the younger people from Chicago, and you know, you mentioned King Von, I don't really want to get into that, but hey, man, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. We all know that from Chicago. We know that. So that's a blanket statement. You know what I mean? Because I know what it is. I come up on them blocks. I'm from 79th Street, and everybody know what it is on 79th Street in Chicago. That's all you got to say is 79th Street. So everybody know what it is. But at the same time, when you've done certain things, you've done it already. It shouldn't be attractive to you anymore. You should want to move past these things. And if you stay in that position, you're going to get what that position has for you. You know what I mean? When you sell drugs, one of the things that's going to happen to you is jail. When you smoke cocaine, one of the things that's going to happen to you is death. You can see it with Lynn Byers. You remember Lynn Byers?
Boston Celtics.
He tooted cocaine a couple times and his ass died. Right. Because it don't matter if it come number 1 or number 48, it's coming. Because it's in that platform. You feel me? If you breaking cars, jail come with that. You feel me?
Right.
So you can't outrun it. You can't, sooner or later, you're going to run into it. If you keep smoking coke, eventually you're going to run into a heart attack, sooner or later. So you got to be conscious of what you're doing and understand when you're not the cream of the crop no more. You done that already. You got to move past it. You done played the clubs. You done did the club scene. You done sold drugs. Now what you gonna do? You understand? As we get older, what you gonna do? You can't straddle the fence. You can't be a rapper and a gangbanger. The shit ain't gonna work. You gotta leave one of them alone. Snoop did. He not an active gangbanger no more. You understand? But he still represent his clique. You gotta stop sooner or later. You feel me? If you want to live.
It seems like you're big on accountability, and I think that that's one of the things that a lot of us coming from underprivileged situations don't do. We want to blame. We want to place blame on everything. We want to place it on the cat, the dog, the kitchen sink. But we don't want to take that self-inventory and say that, look, I played a role in this too. And I like the fact you also have something going on out there in Chicago, man. Stop the violence or stop shooting.
There's a lot of things going on with me and my people as far as stop the violence, ceasefire. You know, it's a few other things, but you know, Chicago niggas got to take a hold of that. You know what I mean? It ain't easy pushing it in a city like Chicago, because like I told you, we come from an Al Capone background. The mayor is gangster, nigga. Everybody gangsters, man. That's all everybody know in Chicago. You know? And it's hard for Chicago people to take a hold of change and understand what that's hurting us instead of building our rep. You know what I mean? We don't want to have the rep of being like people don't want to come to Chicago. Chicago is a great city, even when it ain't. Even when it ain't, it's still a great city. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's just a gangster town, man. That's just what it is. And people have to understand that. You got to be on your P's and Q's when you come to the shop. Just like LA. So,
okay.
just like LA, you know, you just can't. I can't even wear this hat in LA. This means something in LA. I got to switch. Look, I got to switch to my other hat. Look, I got to switch to my LA hat.
That's right, and that's the game. I mean, you have to live. You know, if you out in the urban city, man, areas, you know what time it is, man. You gotta adjust. You gotta adapt to the climate. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to push you too steep into that zone, because I know it could conjure up some feelings. So now we can move into some of your projects, man. Some of the good stuff. Now that you gave people all that, now they can understand who you are. Okay. Now tell them about. Let's get back to the comedy with Russell Simmons and all that. Talk about that stuff, man. Who you worked with, some of that fun stuff, man.
Well, I was on. I was blessed to be on Def Poetry seasons 4, 5, and 6, working with Black Ice and Georgia Me and Lemon and Flacco and a whole lot of different people, man. Jessica Caramore, Kanye was on that joint, and through that, I was able to meet Mike Epps, and Mike Epps took me on tour with him. Charlie Murphy, George Clinton, all them took me on tour with them. And, I was actually at Caroline's in New York on Broadway with Charlie Murphy. And, it was just a platform that happened out of nowhere. Like I said, I never wanted to be no poet. I never imagined to be on stage with these people, but it happened, and it's still happening to this day, minus the COVID, and COVID slowing everything down, and we on the computer right now when we should be sitting next to each other in the studio. But I'm blessed to do a lot coming from the life that I've lived. The projects that I do now, a lot of virtual stuff, but we still do live shows, but it's practice shows, just staying in rhythm, you know what I mean? And doing shows like that. So I'm still doing that all over the country, from Nashville to, I just did a show in Chicago recently, just did a show in Jacksonville, and Atlanta is always still, moving around because movies is still happening here, and Atlanta is still popping. We don't have that many cases like everybody else, so they still popping. But I know a lot of motherfuckers, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just put it like that. And they know me. I ain't gonna name drop right now, but I can name drop, and you can check my status, and they know who the fuck Red Storm is. You know what I mean?
I checked out some of your work. In particular, you did a joint where you made references to Aaliyah and Beyonce. If Aaliyah was still alive, something about Beyonce, and I mean, you got a style that's kind of like it's like slick talk. You got that slick talk, you know what I mean? And you incorporated it into your flowetry. I call it flowetry. You know what I mean? And it's smooth and it's relatable, but it's deep. You know, if somebody sits there, you know. So why don't you tell me about that joint, what the name of it is, and the references and what they mean to you, what they meant to you then and what they mean to you now.
And it's called, the joint is on YouTube. It's called What If, Red Storm, What If. But it's actually, you know, a verse off one of our songs off the Black History album. And if, you know, what if King didn't get shot? Well, he had been the first black president before the Lord blessed us with Barack. And what if Malcolm would have stayed dirty red? Would his speeches have meaning or just some hot air? And what if Harold Washington didn't drink no coffee? Would he still be here? Would they still try to off him? And what if Tupac ain't take Suge Knight's offer? Would he be in Rikers Island writing about them charges? Would Big be notorious without Puff Daddy? Would a pimp be a pimp without the women in the caddy? Would Beyonce be on top if Aaliyah didn't fly? Would TLC be out if we didn't lose Left Eye? You know what I mean? It's certain references in there that me and my homies created. You know what I mean? It ain't all me. Let me give respect to that. But, you know, shit like that. I just talk about shit.
And, you know and it's work like that we appreciate. You know, you've done a lot of shows. I mean, you're being modest right now, and that's cool. You know,
I don't know. It's when I'm in front of the camera. Sometimes the fuck I get modest, but I can turn the bitch up a little bit.
Yeah, because you know, turn it up. I mean, because you're not, you know, you're not an unaccomplished individual. I mean,
no, I'm not.
You got some things in your repertoire. You know what I mean?
But I'm an ex-crackhead.
Okay.
I'm Pookie. I'm Pookie. Okay. I'm just back. So I live on the humble side. I live on the humble side because I'm grateful to be in the position that I am. I don't need to, you know, like I told you earlier, if they make the Grammys, the BET Awards show, any of that in Atlanta or Chicago, I'm in like Flint. I don't need no song. I'm in. I'm good with that. And I stay low key and I stay out the way and I do my little shows because everybody ain't meant to be rich. I'm good with you in this interview, you and my family loving me and recognizing what I do. When it's time for the whole world to recognize, it will be. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not time, it won't be. I'm good. I ain't in prison no more, nigga. You feel me? I ain't fucked up. You feel me? I got everything I need. I'm good. You feel me? So I stay modest, but we can turn it up if you want to turn it up, okay?
No, we ain't gonna force the issue, man. I just wanted to let you know that you felt. And I wanted to let you know you don't have to hold back on my pedal because we're having a conversation right now. And these conversations are conversations that people need to hear and see so that they can see how black men, you know, converse, how we chop it up with each other. You know, some of us, you know, we get down in the gutter. We can talk, you know, that level, but some of us can turn it up and we incorporate and move and, you know, slide around in different, you know, social circles, man. And you know, somebody wouldn't even probably understand who and what you are unless you tell them or unless you were on a billboard or something. So that's why E2W, we want to give you your props and we want to work with you as much as we can to make sure that people hear your prolific work, man. I mean, and it's inspirational work. It's not just because you're trying to make a buck to survive. You're putting quality work out there that's nourishing mentally. And, you know, people can take advice from you. And if they don't want it, like you said in your own right now, you just said it. you know, I'm not forcing it on nobody, man. You can take it, take it or leave it.
You can take it or leave it.
Pretty much,
You know what I mean?
So we want to take it and run with it, man. We want to take it and run with it, and give the people something new, invigorating, and that'll shake it up to the point where people will say, you know what, there are alternatives to media. There are alternatives to explicit material, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not trying to put you in a box or anyone else, but I'm just saying it is enlightening.
I mean, I can give you that too. That ain't what I choose to do. You understand? It's enough of that. It's enough of that. Ain't no Brenda Got a Baby songs. Where that's at. So I choose to do that. I choose to step outside the mainstream and do me, what I feel. I ain't rich, so I don't talk about rich shit. I talk about what I see when I walk out my front door. You feel me? Where I'm at. I roll with rich people. I know the rich people. I got them on the phone or whatever. But that ain't my existence. I roll with the gutter. I roll with the unspoken. I speak for them. I listen to their stories and I tell the story of what behind the scenes. Niggas got rich and left Chicago. Mm-hmm. No leadership. Remember that. Niggas got rich and left. You gotta leave. You gotta go to LA. Kanye and all the rest of them. You dig? I ain't knocking them. I understand. But nigga, come back. Come back. Teach us the game. Teach us what's, you know what I mean? I know you, nigga. Come and I know you. I know these niggas. Come back, nigga. That's what we need. See, New York is different. New York, y'all got people like KRS-One, Nas, you know what I mean? They KRS-One get back to the game. Rakim try to teach motherfuckers how this shit go. We need those people instead of getting caught up in the bling bling. Nigga, I got on the pyrite. I got on a rock. You know what I mean? Cost $30. You understand?
Well, there are conscious rappers out there. You got J. Cole, which I think is very underrated. But yet,
he's cold. J. Cole is cold than a motherfucker.
But people don't gravitate towards it. So it's a personal choice in essence. You can be who you are. I can be who I am. They can be who they are. That's what makes America great, right? But at the end of the day, you're making you're making a difference, man. And I always advocate for the underdog, man, to excel and do better, regardless of where he's at in his life. You're the underdog, man. I feel that you can make it. You know why? Because your boy made it, man. I ain't make it, but I got up out of the slums, put it like that. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I can get up out of the slums, you know what I mean, then anyone can do it, man. But it's refreshing when I can meet another individual, man, who's been through exactly what I've been through. You know what I mean? Minus, certain drugs and things of that nature. But everything else I can probably relate to. And there's other people out there that can relate to that. And when they hear this interview and they see this video, they'll probably say, you reach out to you, man, for inspiration. Be your, whatever. I ain't gonna make up no hypotheticals, but I just appreciate.
I'm open.
Yes. So I'm glad you're on my panel, man. But before we wrap it up, I want you to give people a little bit more of your work and how they can find your work, like your social media platforms and some of your upcoming events and things of that nature. And also, that they're going to be checking you out here on my platform, so you can mention that too.
So basically, you can just get up with me at Red Storm Chicago on all social media platforms. Red Storm Chicago. And as far as my up and coming shows, you know, with the COVID going down, you know, I'm just waiting on my phone to ring. And like, you know, I've always have. I've never solicited myself in that fashion. My phone just ring. And motherfuckers want me to come out and do my thing, whether it be star status or just the regular poetry spots. I just wait in faith for my phone to ring. I'm in Atlanta. You can catch me every Monday night in Atlanta at the Apache Cafe, which is legendary. All you got to pull that up. All you got to do is pull that up, Apache Cafe. And, you know, I got a book out called Finder of Lost Souls. It's on Amazon right now. And, you know, I'm just living in faith, man. I'm like Job from a thug point of view. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And I just want to say I appreciate you. And each and every Monday, we'll have more episodes just like this here on E2WMag.com. Here with Red, man. Red, I'm going to say, man, I appreciate you and peace.
Peace.